Hi, welcome back. Oh, I forgot to. Hi, I forgot that I needed my microphone. Guys, you know what? It's a rough out here trying to make a podcast all by myself. Hi, welcome to Obsessed by Everything Bravo. It's Meredith, your host, on our journey through the Bravo universe. We are taking our first step outside of the Housewives into the Shahs of Sunset, who I will refer to as the Shahs. So instead of the Housewives, I had to come up with the new words or cast members. Today we're talking about Shahs of Sunset Season 1, Episode 2, entitled It's My Birthday, Bitches. That's a good one. That's giving Reza. Like if you were to be like, put me on like a Bravo Jeopardy and you were to be like, who said it's my birthday, bitches? Reza, I would definitely think, but I would probably honestly think Stassi. Stassi Schroeder. But she was like, it's my fucking birthday. And for some reason, these people always want to go to Vegas on their birthday. Now, they, I guess, are having better times in Vegas than I had in Vegas. Now, I will say I had a wonderful time at BravoCon. It wasn't the BravoCon of it all. It was the Vegas of it all. I was like, why do people come here? Yeah, I was not impressed by Vegas at all. Now, granted, I was not staying at one of these fancy places. I was staying at a cheap hotel right next to where BravoCon was because I did not care about my accommodations. So that might have made a difference, but I don't think it was that much because I did go and explore other places and they all seemed like they were the same. For me, that's just not something that I want. And maybe it would have been better if I'd gone like in a warmer month where like the pool was open and I could go lay by the pool. I probably would have liked that. But just like going to a casino is, ugh, you know? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get casinos. And I've been to Monte Carlo. That was cool. Little rinky-dink casinos in like Las Vegas, or they have all this kind of shit at Churchill Downs, to be quite honest. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Nothing. Like, you need to be getting dressed up. You need to be like ordering expensive alcohol. That's comped, of course. You know, going down to the casino to poke a screen in your sweatpants, not impressive for me. But you know what? This also was a long time ago, and I do think Vegas has changed a lot. And, you know, in my mind, Vegas was always like super cheap. Like you could get all kinds of stuff for cheap because they wanted you to go gamble, and that makes sense. But for me, everything was really expensive, like stupid expensive. But anyway, we're going to Vegas. We're going to Vegas. So this is the second episode. There's only 6 episodes in this season. So a nice little short, tight way to introduce ourselves to these people. And, you know, I was thinking last night that I was like, everyone on this cast other than Sammy, who's kind of like not giving what I need to give, but everybody else is giving reality TV star. And I was just really thinking about Gigi. Now, I've only seen these 3 episodes that we're talking about this week so far, but Gigi is so earnest in herself. Like these people, they're just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Authentically themselves. But also they're so outrageous. You know what I mean? And they don't think that they are. And that is just like a really good combination for reality TV star. It's the authenticity that people crave. And I know I've said this before, and I will say it again, and I'll say it 1,000 times. The authenticity is what the people want. Right now, Bravo is casting like influencers and things, and they just are not giving what they need to give in order to be like a really good reality TV star. There's just like this little, there's like this it factor that you have to have. And honestly, it's amazing that they were able to take a community that already existed, cast 6 people, and 5 of these people have, have what it takes, you know what I mean? And that's pretty good. What's amazing about it is like, okay, in a Housewives, it's like, Well, okay, so we have Jill Zarin. She's friends with Ramona. Ramona brings on one of her friends. And then, oh, there's also this Countess lady. Let's cast her. And then also one of my other good friends, Bethany. She's an up and coming chef. And then throw in a random person. But it's like they kind of know each other. No, Shaw's is like they all went to high school together. Like Mike used to date Gigi's sister. You know what I mean? MJ and Reza work in the same office. Like these people are good friends. They all have that it factor, which is kind of crazy, right? Okay, so obviously this episode we're gonna do Reza's birthday party, but we're not starting there, right? So at the end of the last episode, Sammy had his pool party, and first of all, Gigi went off on Asa at the dinner because Asa said something about her dad funding her life, which is true. And then Gigi went off on Mike. Gigi is she is out of control. I don't know how else to say that. She is just like a hot tamale, like just firing on all cylinders everywhere. But the crazy thing is, Reza had this conversation with her and was like, no, you handled that with elegance and class. Baby, do we need to get a dictionary? Because those are not the definitions of elegance and class. So they're like feeding into this girl's delusion that she's handling things fine. And guess what happens when someone with a hot temper and delusion that you don't correct in the very beginning? Guess what happens with that? They go crazy. So that's what we're walking into with this Vegas episode. So we open up to MJ and Reza are meeting at a Mexican restaurant. It seems like they had an open house. I think this must be the day after Sammy's party. It's like a Sunday. They're showing houses, right? Gigi joins in, and MJ says the best thing about a party is the day after, so you can dish and discuss and exchange notes. And honestly, MJ she's coming off like in these 3 episodes as such a lush, but she's also coming off as like your new best friend. You know what I mean? Because she's just very open and comfortable with the cameras and talking in her confessionals to where she's just giving that best, like she's giving like somebody I could tell secrets to. That's like the energy that she's giving. And just saying this, like the best part about a party is the day after. And it's like, yeah, we've all been there. We've all like called our friends and been like, do you remember what happened last night? Everybody's done that, right? So this is like just top tier for me. And I feel like I don't know, I just like feel like a kinship with MJ more so than I would ever feel with Gigi, even though Gigi is more close to my age. So I should probably feel better with her. I just absolutely do not. She scares the shit out of me. Okay, so I actually just looked this up because I was curious, but Gigi actually is my age. She's like a month younger than me. And, sometimes, especially like with this will happen when we get into the Southern Charm cast that are all my age, the VPR cast that most of them are my age or around my age, and I'm just like, when when I was watching them who were still finding themselves, I was married with a child, a career, it's just like all this stuff. And it's just like so weird to me that these people are my age, but also looking so young. There's something about, there's just something about like people who were born like after like 1975 that until probably 2000, like that 25-year period where you just defy aging. I don't know what it is. And I feel like the young people don't look young because they're doing too much with their face. But even now I think Gigi looks young, like she's on the new show, right? And I'm watching that, but she legitimately scares the shit out of me. And to know that she's like my age is so weird. But now maybe I do feel like a little bit of a kinship. But she's like around 30 when this is being filmed, and everybody else is in their late 30s. So I feel like that contributes to the dynamic here, just like in the things that happen moving forward, that Gigi maybe feels like she is kind of odd man out. And what's interesting about that dynamic is I would say also Asa is maybe ostracized a little bit because she's just not playing into that stereotype of a Persian, which is not true at all because she's also always decked out in gold and all this stuff. But, and you know, we'll learn about Diamond Water here in a little bit, but also wants to be sort of on the outer, she wants to be an outsider, and Gigi does not. She definitely wants to be HBIC. So when she gets ostracized, that just triggers something in her. Okay, but enough about that. So Gigi joins the restaurants. Okay, and I'm like literally the first line into this. She said she was shocked when Mike's girlfriend looks like she was in Vegas. I don't get the distinction between LA and Vegas. I guess that's because I'm from Kentucky, like a little hillbilly from Kentucky. I don't get it, but you know, whatever. And MJ says maybe he was in Vegas for too long. And Gigi tells us Mike likes this chipper girl type. He's not into this subtle look, implying that she's very subtle. Which she's conservative. Like she's not out here dressing skanky. None of these people are, by the way. None of these people are dressing skanky. And I think, you know, when skanky versus slutty or whatever, sexy, where it was like labia hanging out. Nobody has labia hanging out. But I would say that almost all of these people are more conservative. Now, do they have their tits out? Yes. Do they wear short skirts? Yes. But they're balancing that. I don't know. There's really just like a subtle difference, but I'm sure it's cultural because none of the VPR, you know, Sheena Shea. Tits out and ass out. You know what I'm saying? These people are like tits out or ass out. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's, I think that's what they're kind of identifying. But for me, it's just like, at this point at my age, I'm like, if I had a body like any of these people's body, tits out and ass out. Like, I don't care anymore. You know what I mean? Like, but those days are gone. That's for 25-year-olds, right? So, you know, so for me, I celebrate it if a woman is dressing, you know, provocatively or whatever. I'm like, more power to you, babe. The other thing about Gigi is that she has such a revisionist history because in her mind, she's telling herself, Asa she went after my father. No, she made that comment going after you. She just mentioned your father. And that happens a lot in Bravo. It's like, you mention someone's family member, but it's really a dig at the person that you're talking to, and they go fucking nuts. Don't ever talk about my father again. And it's like, babe, I wasn't talking about your dad or your kid or your mom or nobody. I was talking about you. I just like happened to, you know, to mention their name or something in passing or something. It's crazy. And so she's doing this again with Mike, and she is saying, well, like, he came up to me and said that I was being jealous. I'm not being jealous. I'm just pointing out that she's a dirty slut hoe and you shouldn't have brought her. And I was literally telling everybody in the party that she looks so slutty. And it's like, no, babe, you were the one. He was coming up to you to defend his girl and to get you to stop talking to literally every person at this party about how slutty you thought this girl he brought was because you're jealous. Or as it gets on and is like, tells us she's totally jealous. MJ says he's going to have a hard time finding a girl that is his match. In the Persian Jewish community, there's just not a lot of them that aren't inbred. Now, please, that is what MJ said. I am not talking bad about these people, please. I'm laughing because this makes me so uncomfortable. When they talk like this, it's just like, I can't. This makes me so uncomfortable when they say stuff like this. I'm just quoting it. And I'm sorry. It's important because we need to know like a baseline of how these people are. And they're talking about people being inbred. I cannot. I thought that was just for, you know, people in Alabama and Kentucky, but apparently you can be inbred other places. So then MJ's like, did you see that dress? And so Reza goes, are you talking about Asa? And now again, they're talking about Asa's dress, which was like, I don't know. I don't get what these people are like. I don't see what these people are seeing when they're talking badly about what these people are wearing. I thought everybody looked fine and appropriate. You know, it was a pool party. The expectation is you wear the least amount of clothes possible, right? We're not talking about a black tie wedding. We're talking about a pool party. Like, who cares? Gigi tells us that also Asa has her own sense of style, like ghetto style. You see how she uses that again. She does it next episode too. And Reza says, well, she wears outfits that are like 4 sizes too small. She looks like a Persian Punky Brewster. And he asked the table, do you think she does that on purpose to show that she's different? And Gigi says, to an extent I do, but I truly think she doesn't know any better. So what she's saying is like, she just doesn't have any fashion sense. She doesn't know how to dress. So she just wears whatever. And I fear that I would be, that's how they would be talking about me. I don't have a fashion sense. Like I wear athleisure every single day, except for when I go to work, and then I wear scrubs because I work in hospital. Like that's just pajamas like that are sterilized. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So then they talk about Vegas, and Reza said that he called the hotel to get 2 to 3 floors so they could do it Persian style. And I'm like, what, for 8 people? Why do you need 2 to 3 floors? So now it's later. So of course it's Reza's birthday. So he calls his father and he says that he has not spoken to his dad in a long time. They're estranged and his dad lives in Long Island, but he wants to reconnect. So he has a phone conversation with his father. He's trying to build steps to reconnect to his dad. He starts to pack, and he's telling us that when he's out with his friends, he expects his friends to meet his standard of looking good. I don't know. For me, I just don't have any expectations on my friends, what they're wearing if we go out somewhere. I mean, are you dressed? Are you comfortable? Do you feel good? That's fine with me. MJ has someone come over to help her pick out clothes, just like a friend, and they're drinking. So we're doing a packing montage, right? So Asa starts throwing a bunch of stuff into a bag, and she says she doesn't plan her outfits. That's corny. Oh, but then we go over to Gigi's, and she has her stylist come over, and they they pick out certain outfits for every occasion, and she has multiple choices for each occasion that could possibly pop up for each event in the 48 hours that they're going to be in Vegas. So again, just showing the difference between all these people. Even though actually everybody is the same except for Ozza, I guess. So they get a party bus to go to the airport. And they start loading up, and the first person to get in is just Gigi, and then the next person is Asa. So they're just like sitting around awkwardly staring, and then apparently Gigi has a bunch of anxiety about flying, and she pulls out this paper bag, like old timey, like in movies where they used to be like breathe in a paper bag. She's like, this is my breathing bag. I don't know. That struck me as so funny. Mike tells us that since Vegas is his old stomping ground, he hopes nobody acts embarrassing in the clubs. I feel like going to Vegas and just getting hammered for 2 days with your friend is probably someone who's going to be embarrassing. So they go pick everybody else up, and of course the last people to get on are MJ and Reza, and MJ is late. And this is like, I guess, MJ's theme. She's just like always late to everything. And she gets there and she has rollers in her hair and she's already hammered. And then also they take a private jet, which is a flex. And I was like, is Bravo paying for this or is Reza paying for this? Like, because if Bravo's paying for this, why are they not paying for PJs for all the cast members to do stuff? So it has to be Reza, right? Which is like kind of a flex. But then also, why is Gigi still nervous? She's so nervous. Everybody else is partying in the back and she's sitting up front and she's literally breathing in that bag. Also says Gigi needs a lot of attention and that gets old after a while. Gigi's got a lot going on. Okay, so they arrive in Vegas. They're staying at this hotel called the Aria, and they have like this huge multi-floor suite. So they didn't rent out a bunch of floors. What he got was a suite that had multiple floors in it. And there's like 8 of them because it's the main cast plus this lady Anita and David, and both of those people again were at that dinner the first night. And I swear they must have been all cast and then they just didn't give them a contract after they saw the footage. Some that does happen sometimes where they will have casted a different person and then that they just decide to make them friends of, like probably Dana Wilkie. I know Eden Sassoon, many years in the future it will be that way. Like she was supposed to be a housewife but then just became a friend of, right? Which is why you shouldn't get super excited about casting rumors before they're shooting, because it doesn't necessarily mean anything unless they're already like a big name. For instance, like when they cast Rachel Zoe, she was already a Bravo, celebrity and had her own like stuff going on. So therefore it's okay to get excited about her because you knew she was going to be there. But like other people that are no names, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're housewives. Sometimes they're just, or a full-time cast member. Sometimes they're just there. And that's what these two people are. They're just always around. They're literally at every event, but they don't get confessionals and they don't really focus on what they're saying. It's very strange. But anyway, so there's like 8 people and they all have their own room and they all have their own ensuite bathroom. It's very nice. And the place has like this big stairwell in it. And I mean like a full bar, a butler, crazy, crazy, crazy. Reza said Persians love Vegas because they're all about glitz, glam, and cash. I just love that they're just like constantly telling us what Persians are, but it's like the most stereotypical thing. I mean, like, I guess it's okay if they're telling. I mean, I to be honest, I wouldn't know anything about Persians before this, or really anything beyond what they tell me. I don't know anything about it. So I'm just gonna have to believe what Reza is telling me. So it's the afternoon when they get there. They're all gonna get ready and they're gonna go out to eat, and then they're gonna go out that night. But so they're all getting ready, but MJ and Gigi are running behind, and they're like, "Look, just go to the restaurant. We'll meet you there." Because, in these Vegas hotels, it's like everything is just in the place that you're staying. You don't have to like go 1,000 places. There's multiple restaurants, there's clubs, the casinos, whatever you want to do. It's all just like right there, which is nice and convenient. So they're going out to eat and they have some kind of private room in the restaurant. Like it's just a room for them that's a part of the restaurant, which is kind of nice for filming sake. MJ and Gigi arrive. MJ is hammered. Like she can barely open her eyes and she's still drinking. And then one of the employees pops her head in and says hi to Mike. And Reza tells us that Mike used to run Vegas. And Mike tells us that it's humbling to be in a place where he's not where he used to be. Like it's kind of embarrassing almost for him, I guess. So then they start arguing about champagne and the difference that Gigi's like, I can tell the difference between Cristal and Dom. I don't know why everybody orders Cristal. They just think it's cool, but it's whack. So I only even mention this because it is going to come up later. And Reza says, if your palate is so defined that you can taste the difference between Dom and Cristal, then let's put some money on it. And it was at this moment that I was like, I have not heard about Cristal in years. I have not heard anybody say it, but we're still talking about Dom Perignon. So maybe she's right. Reza says he's just sitting at the table. He's beaming. Of course, it's his birthday. And he's like, all my friends are hot, especially all you girls. You all look amazing tonight. And so then they're all happy. But then that leads MJ, who is literally blackout drunk, starts talking about Anita's outfit. So how they're sitting at the table, Reza's at the head. I don't know who's sitting on this side, but on this side, it's Anita next to him, Gigi and MJ, and then Mike's at the end. And MJ is hammered and she starts talking about Anita's outfit, okay? And her and Gigi are going back and forth talking about how terrible Anita's outfit is. And they're like, yeah, I think I wore that 2.5 years ago and all this stuff. Literally right next to her. And they're also drunk, so they're being loud. Like 1000% Anita is listening to all this. Reza tells us Anita has so much respect for me. I know she can hear them talking shit about her, but she's staying quiet so I can have a nice birthday. Okay, now here's something that I forgot to mention before, but Gigi has a man in Vegas, like some guy that she knows, and she's been texting him leading up to Vegas. And now he's coming to meet her so that they can all go out. So she goes in, meets her man. Everybody else leaves dinner, and now they're going to a club. And of course, because Mike knows the owner, the bouncer, whatever, they're able to get in, and they get into VIP. Now, when I was back in the day going to clubs, going out, to bars, we didn't have VIP, and maybe that's just, I don't know if they have that now. I have to be honest, I have not gone to a club in a long time. I know clubbing culture has changed a lot in the last couple since I went, like I said, at this time I had a child, it means I wasn't going to clubs. But they didn't have VIP when I was. I don't know if the Louisville scene has VIP, but for me, what I think about, and especially if you're just like a regular person, like these people are all just regular people at this time. They're not famous. Now might be a different story. But when we're talking about like famous people, like some of the housewives, yeah, you don't want to be mixing it up with just like regular people. But these people are regular people. Why would you want to be separated from the regular people and be just by yourself? I think the whole point is to be like around all the other people, right? Or I guess the whole point for them is to be like, oh, look how rich I am. I'm in VIP and I'm ordering bottle service. But who cares? Like if I was at a club, I would definitely not be worried about the 5 people in VIP. I don't know. That is crazy to me. Okay, now Gigi shows up with this new dude, and I think it's very clear to every single person on this planet that she's bringing this guy around to make Mike jealous. And she even says, "I'm nervous for Mike and Chris to meet because I just don't think I think Mike's gonna feel insecure." Turns out, nope, those two are bros. They know each other. They're like, oh, not the high five, but you know how guys grab each other and go in for like a half hug. Yep, they're doing that, and plan thwarted. So Mike's not jealous at all. And he also knows half the people that work at this place. So he's having like the time of his life. Reza tells us Gigi wasn't even talking to Chris the whole time she was looking at Mike. You can't bring a white guy to a Persian party to try to make him jealous. As the night goes on, MJ is continuing to drink. She's dancing crazy. She's starting to take her clothes off. Asa says MJ was in the twilight zone. I don't know what she was feeling. And then she throws up on the couch, the VIP couch. So there that goes about her, nobody embarrassing Mike. So then Asa's like, I have to take her out of here. So she takes MJ back up to the room, and they're kind of like chilling, laying on the couch, and Asa's like, do you want me to make you some tea? Do you need anything? And then Reza comes back in because he's worried about them. And all of a sudden, MJ just springs up off the couch, running around. She's worried about how she left her purse at the club. And she's like, it's got my phone in it. I have $500. And she's like running all over this huge suite, like it's bigger than a house. And they're all like, no, you didn't even have a purse at dinner. Like you didn't bring a purse at all. You don't have anything. And Reza's like, she was jumping around all of a sudden. So he was trying to get her to calm down because she was literally running and she was going to hurt. So he puts her in the shower, fully dressed, and he starts to run the water. And then he's like, no, now we're going to put you in a bathtub. And Asa's like, no, she's going to pass out and drown in a bathtub. And he's like, well, I'm only going to fill it with 2 to 3 inches. You can drown in 3 inches of water. Please don't do this to your friends. Just throw some water on their head if you feel that would actually probably make somebody more hyper. I don't know. And so the 3 of them, hijinks are ensuing because Asa and Reza are like chasing MJ around. They're trying to get her to calm down and just go to sleep so that they can like calm down and go to sleep. Or I don't know if Reza was planning on going back to the club. I have no idea. So it's the next morning. Everybody is, of course, they have a butler, so they have breakfast there, and they're all just like, oh. Chris, the guy, Gigi's guy, he comes to breakfast, which I thought strange. And then Asa comes down and greets everybody. I said she always has to kiss everyone on the cheeks. I don't know. That just drives me nuts. Like, you can't just be like, hey, and like just slither in your seat. Everybody feels like shit. They don't want to get up and kiss you on the cheek. MJ comes down and she looks fresh as a daisy, and they're all laughing. They're like, how are you able to be up and move around? And she's like, I don't know, just am. Reza and Asa are trying to tell everybody else about how crazy MJ was being the night before. And Reza tells us, I saw a very special version of Asa last night. I have a newfound respect and appreciation for her. And now I'm going to make it my mission that Gigi also sees that. So everybody is kind of sitting around. They're laughing. They're recounting the night before. They're all happy. They're hungover, but they're happy. You know how that kind of thing goes. And you can just see Gigi on the side with her man, who she should be the happiest one of them all, right? She's actually getting some. And she's just getting more and more and more agitated. And she finally gets up and she's like, do we have to wait for everyone to finish eating before we can go and do whatever their next activity was? And she just like gets up from the table, and literally everybody is like, whoa, what the fuck was that? Mike says, even for Gigi, that kind of attention is wrong to want to get. So they're at the table and they all talk about how usually people who get laid are relaxed. And Gigi tells us that she was just annoyed because everybody was drunk and acting crazy, and she's not drinking, so she just sees how stupid people can be. So the timeline of this is very strange because her and Chris go down to the cabana at the pool, which will be where we end up going. But then they go to commercial break and then they come back, and the next scene is Gigi, Reza, and Asa going to the spa because Reza really wants Gigi and Asa to make up. So I don't know if Gigi just went down there for like an hour to cool down, and then we never see Chris again. Like, he's gone. So the timeline of this is very strange, but it doesn't matter. So they come back from a commercial break, and Gigi says Reza wants Asa and I to hit it off. So he has set up a special spa day today. So they're all chatting, and I think they're just getting their toes done or something. And they're kind of chatting about Reza's love life, and he said that his mom has offered him $500,000 to get married to like a woman, and he was like, that would be so messed up, like to do something like that, just to like use somebody just for money is essentially, or I don't even know if she wanted him to get married to a woman or a man. Like, that wasn't really specified. It was just like getting married. And Asa was like, yeah, like but basically Reza was like, look, I love money, but I'm not doing that. And Asa was like, yeah, me and you, we're so similar because we're both authentic 100% from the top to the bottom. And Asa said, Reza and I are definitely a lot alike because I think the struggles that he's gone through being gay in Persian society and the struggles that I went through as a political refugee are a lot alike. And I wrote, aren't all of them political refugees? Like, that was basically the story they told us in the first episode. Why I went and researched the Iranian Revolution was because they were all political refugees. They all had to flee in the 70s. So wouldn't you be a lot alike because you lived through that? Like, I think maybe she was like a little bit older, but he was still alive for that. He still remembers it. Sammy remembers it. He can tell you about his house when he was growing up. Anyway, that just struck me as weird. Rosa said, with my personality being so strong and yours too, if we don't like something, we say it. And he's talking to both of the women. We spend too much time with one another for there to be unresolved issues. So Asa says to Gigi, the tensions between us, let's just talk about it and move past it. I don't want negativity between us. And Gigi's like, well, we both might have gone to a level we weren't prepared for. What do you mean? Like, she said something negative about you and you threatened to kick her ass? Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Asa says, we were both strong personalities. I felt like you guys kept saying stuff about my outfit, and I was just reacting to that. And Gigi says, I'm okay. Was saying, let bygones be bygones and starting fresh. So then they're all agreeing, let's have a reset. We're going to start fresh. But there was no like apology from either side. Like, I feel like in order to start fresh and move on, you need to apologize a little bit. Like, I'm sorry that we were talking shit about your outfit. And I'm sorry for bringing up your dad. I'm sorry for going off on you. There was none. It was just like, well, we're strong personalities. So if you piss us off, you got to expect a There was nothing like that. Okay. But we're resetting. Now they go, everybody's at the pool lounge and they're in a cabana and they have this big cake delivered. And this was like at the time where there was like a lot of like cake, like those fondant, like that hard fondant cake decorating. And it was like shiny and not like icing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this was that era of cake. So they bring one of those out and it's very like, it looks very like Alice in Wonderland to me, like that fondant. And it's always like a square cake, I guess, because that's probably easier to place fondant on. Looks weird to me. I like an icing cake. I like icing. I like a buttercream. I don't like a fondant. I don't like something that's gross when I eat it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, they're eating cake. It's Reza's birthday. They're in the cabana, which is like right next to a pool. The pool is very small for as many people as there. So I don't know if it's just like a private pool just for the cabanas. Doesn't matter. And it's also like August. I can't imagine how hot it is there. So Anita is sitting by the side of the pool and David. So these two are the people that we don't get confessionals from. David is splashing her and she's like, oh, my swimsuit can't get wet. And so Gigi's like, what's the point of having a bathing suit that can't get wet? So now Gigi is talking shit about Anita again. So this is the second time she's done it, talking shit about what she's wearing and saying, well, you're just going to have weird tan lines. Reza comes on a confessional and says, but she was wearing naming a designer. She looked twice as good as you and she was getting the attention that you wanted. Gigi, I think you're angry and bitter and you don't like competition. One thing about this is Reza's getting very pissed that people keep talking about Anita. He's like starting to really clock this, even though Reza can be like a messy bitch. He loves people to be in fights, but he is actually standing up for his friend. So now Anita goes underneath the cabana and she's heard what Gigi said. This is like the second time and she's talking to MJ about it and she's like upset. And MJ, this is a small area too. Like I can't really explain it to you, but there's like this cabana that is probably like the size of a very, very small bedroom that's got couches and things. And then right next to that is the pool. And the pool is very small. It is like probably the size of a living room. Like it's very small. Like the whole area is very small. And there's tons of people there, but there's nowhere to go. So when they're all talking shit about each other, it's like you're 5 feet away from someone. So Anita is hurt. So she's going into the cabana and she's talking about MJ. And, or she's talking to MJ about what Gigi is saying. So, of course, Gigi hears it the same way Anita heard you talking shit. And they're also talking about what happened the night before when they were talking about Anita's outfit. And Reza says, MJ is a shit-talking shit-stirrer, but she gets away with it because she can be really slick about it. So what Reza is trying to point out there is like MJ was actually the one that was saying shit last night, but for some reason, Anita is the one that's going to her and complaining about Gigi, and it's like leaving MJ out of it, which is like interesting group dynamics. And so then Gigi comes up and she's just like, you guys are talking about me. And so Anita is like, yeah, I feel like if you have something to say about me, just say it to my face. And Gigi's like, well, who said that? And Anita's like, every day it's something new. Gigi says, I don't talk shit about behind people's back. That is not what I've seen. In fact, I've seen you talk shit about just about everybody. You've talked shit about Mike. You've talked shit about his girlfriend. You're talking shit about Anita. You were talking shit about Asa. You're literally, that's like all I've ever seen you do is talk shit. And Anita's like, I've been hearing you talk about me the whole time. Like it's not. And Gigi's like, don't say I talk shit because I'm not. And then she tells us it was hurtful to hear Anita say she was talking behind her back because I've taken her shopping to try to make her look good. Oh my God. What does that have to do with anything? It's hurtful. It's hurtful to hear you say that you overheard what I was saying about you. This is what I'm saying. You cannot make this stuff up. And she is so like 10 toes down that she is correct in this. So now she's hurt. Oh, also like she's all Gigi has against Anita is like, oh, she's not fashionable. She's wearing something that's 2 years old. We should probably spend a lot of money on that dress. And then Anita at one point says, I bought this dress last week. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like not everybody cares about being the most fashion forward. It doesn't matter to some people. And also what I will say is Gigi isn't fashion forward. She's just wearing what's on trend. If you're talking about being fashion forward, then you need to actually like be setting the trends, not following the trends. So your argument is moot because you're not even what you're trying to be. Okay. So Anita says, I heard what you all said about me at the dinner last night. And Gigi's like, about the dress? I said I love that dress 2 years ago. So it goes on and on and on and on. And they're like back and forth to each other. But Anita is just like being calm. Like Anita is coming from a place of hurt, like not anger, if that makes sense. So she's not, but Gigi is now backed into a corner. So she's reacting like a wild animal. She's coming from a place of anger. And so Anita is not raising her voice. She's not yelling, but Gigi's like, if you want to holler at me, I can holler a lot fucking louder. Take it down a notch. Don't get in my face, while she's pointing her finger in Anita's face. And Anita's like, you're in my face, Gigi. And Gigi's like, I did buy that dress. I wore it 5 seasons ago. Do you think I look at brands when I shop? I pick out what I want off the rack. I spend thousands of dollars a week. Don't fucking walk up on me out like that. So she's flexing. She's trying to flex that she wastes her father's money by spending thousands of dollars a week shopping. And then what does she do with it? She only wears an outfit once. I mean, that's so ridiculous. The consumerism is crazy. And you know that she's not buying just like cheap stuff from H&M. Like the H&M comment is what made Gigi go off on Asa, right? So she's not buying cheap stuff. She's buying expensive stuff and then what? Throwing it away? Like I don't understand. I don't understand the flex of the over consumerism. Like this, I will never be able to wrap my brain around it. So everybody is like basically trying to get Gigi to stop because she's just like screaming. At one point she kicks, like David's trying to get her to stop and she like kicks him and she's like, get off of me. Not like kicks him, but just like kicks her leg out, which could potentially hurt someone. And then she just like leaves the cabana. So now they go to commercial break and it's later that night and they're all getting ready to go out for the night to go to dinner. And Gigi texts Reza. She's like, look, I'm late. I'm going to just meet you guys late for dinner. And so he's like, okay. They're all kind of chatting about what was going on. And as they're like leaving for dinner, and MJ asks Anita, she's like, I called you, you didn't answer me. Anita was like, well, I didn't really want to talk to anybody besides Gigi was calling me 50 times since the cabana, which is weird, right? So everybody sits down to dinner and they're all kind of like, when Gigi gets here, I don't want to sit by her. Anita's like, she needs to be far away from me. I just don't want to sit next to her. And literally everyone says that. And Gigi shows up and she's upset that not everybody's not jumping up to greet her when she like was kicking and screaming at everybody mere hours ago. And Sammy tells us the whole vibe, the whole energy of the place just got shifted. So then Asa, messy bitch, says, Anita, you look so beautiful at the pool today. And Reza, also messy bitch, is like looking back and forth between Anita and Gigi. He's like, what's gonna pop off? And Gigi goes, I didn't get any attention from anyone, and it was kind of tough to arrive at a table with people who make you feel like shit. They're reacting to your behavior. And that this is where there's no self-reflection, because this girl, I don't think, changes for years and years. They're reacting to your behavior. They don't want to say hi to you because they don't know if you're just going to start attacking them, and not just verbally, but physically at this point. Did I mention that she loves knives? This girl always has a knife on her. It's crazy. And so the whole, like, it goes on more and more, and nobody's really talking to Gigi. She's sitting next to Mike, and Mike basically has his whole body turned. And because Reza is sitting at the head of the table, there's like an odd number of seats. So there's nobody across from her, and the person next to her is turned, and they're all talking amongst each other. And so MJ is at the table. She's like, I feel like we're alienating Gigi. Why are we alienating Gigi for no reason? It wasn't for no reason, babe. You know the reason. So now Gigi gets up and leaves the table, and she's like crying. And MJ says, I was not proud of the group for the way that we handled things with Gigi. Sometimes I say Gigi as if it's French. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to do that. That's just how my mouth is forming, but it's the same person. Yeah. So MJ was not proud of the table, but I feel like maybe she should have said something before. And honestly, well, I think what it was is I feel like if they had addressed it, it would have turned into another screaming match, and they just were trying to avoid it to keep the peace for Rose's birthday is like kind of the only thing that I can guess. But that is the end of that episode. So if you were wondering why I was heavy talking about Gigi at the beginning, it is because she pretty much dominates. And one of the things that the other people have mentioned and they're starting to get really pissed off about is that Gigi needs a lot of attention. She demands attention at all times on her, even if it's negative attention, like even if it's the kind where she's screaming and kicking at people, that's giving her attention. And so ignoring her at this dinner was like the only thing you were ever going to do that was going to upset her, because yelling at her just gives her what she wants. So it's kind of interesting that they're already clocking that. And again, these people are quite like, 6 to 8 years older than her. And I will say Gigi is not mature. She is very, very immature for her age, her big age of like 30. So I don't know. The dynamics here are very interesting. Like I said, I've only watched the first 3 episodes, but I do remember quite well what's going on. So we will see. We're going to talk about the next episode. Again, it'll be right in your feed, right behind this one. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you're enjoying the Shahs. I hope you're enjoying our detour, because I'm really enjoying it. And I do have to say that I just love Bravo. I mean, this was the golden age. If only we could go back. We can't go back, but we can't keep watching. And so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.